I'm Davey.
I'm Misty.
DM Watts.
Unscripted.
Unedited.
Unapologetic.
Let's get it.
All right, here we go. What is going on, everybody? I am Davey.
I'm Misty.
And welcome to another episode of DM Watts Podcast, where today we know what we want to talk about.
yeah, we're not going to do the fishbowl topic in this. Therefore, it's a DM Watts exclusive special.
Yeah, I don't have the sound. It'd be like, ding, 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 ding. I don't know. Maybe it'd be like,
Dum.
dee, 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 or something like that. Anyway, yeah, this is a DM Watts special podcast special. Guys, today we're going to talk about something that is just out of freaking control.
Out of control.
It is out of control.
Out of control.
We are here to talk about scams.
Scams. Internet scams.
It is
Phone
scams.
scams.
Goodness.
Scams.
Yeah, okay, before we even get started, let's talk about the fact that between me and you, we get, well, I would say between the two of us, not between, but both of us, about 5 calls a day.
Easily
5 calls a day.
Easily.
You know, I'm sure you guys know the robocalls and
your car warranty.
Yeah, your car warranty. We joke about it, but that's a scam.
Medicare.
Medicare or
bill consolidation.
Yeah, we're calling you about your outstanding debt that you have, or your PayPal account.
Outstanding debt.
Yep, outstanding debt that you have, or we're calling you about this opportunity that you signed up for that you won. You are the winner of a opportunity that you never signed up for.
Even a warrant.
Yeah, or those make me laugh the most.
Yeah, the warrant.
The warrants, because I have fun with those.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we're serious. First of all, the guy has a thick accent talking about, well, if you don't pay this, we're coming to get you. Wow, you are definitely not from America.
No, I mean, there's a caveat to the warrant one, though. I will say that back when cell phones first came out, okay, and so Devin's first cell phone, he did get a number of someone that had been in trouble. I mean, this is 2010.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And scams weren't really running like that.
Yeah.
And it was actually the LAPD. It was. I actually, even back then, we still had operators and stuff. So I was able to find out, no, it really was them. And it took me forever to convince them that they were after a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah. And nowadays, and like you said, that was way back when.
And so, and it took a long time, but I was like, guys, we're in Wichita. What are you doing?
Yeah, so
like,
nowadays.
Come on. You got to have better internet than me, right?
Yeah, nowadays they've gotten so clever. It's like, first
now
of all, the
you
police
can't
aren't
tell.
finna call you and threaten you, saying if you don't come pay this, we're coming to arrest you. Really?
No, they don't give you a heads up. They just show up.
Anyway, but yeah, we gonna go and get into it.
Yeah.
Solid banter, man. But
well, no, it's a hard subject to talk about.
Yeah.
Because it's hitting me in particular on a personal level.
Yeah.
And I don't really like to talk about it.
Of course.
I don't want to talk about it, but I also know that in talking about it, I have with our platform, we have the ability to help a lot of people.
Of
and
course.
if I'm holding back something that could help someone, that's bad on me.
Yeah.
And that's not okay.
Right. So, I'd like to go ahead and get into the different types, because when we talk about how clever these guys have gotten, like, it has gotten outrageous, and unfortunately, they have a different, they have different targets now.
Yeah.
So people like us, middle-aged people, they'll try to target, but we typically laugh a lot of this shit off, right? Like, whatever. But then you have, the elderly, you know what I'm saying? Those are a little bit older that, they come from a trusting generation. They get a call, from blackmailing scams. I have my paper in front of me to talk about this.
Well, yeah. I mean, and oh God, people, I'm having a hard time with this.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to come across or sound judgy, because any one of us can look at this and go, how could you ever fall for it? But if you're not in that position, you don't know. And unfortunately, elderly people aren't tech savvy because they didn't grow up with it. Technology came out when they were already, of a certain age. So they're not seeing that, they're a victim.
Right. So one of the biggest ones that we've seen is the blackmailing one, right? Where like they like say if you've done something in your past, or you took a picture, or even your kids took a picture or something like that, and then all of a sudden you get a call saying we have a picture of you, or we have a picture of what you did before on this date, right? And we're going to share it with the whole world unless you give us some money.
Yeah. And what's happened is they've legit, like in some instances for the real good ones, I hate to put it that way, but the more tech savvy scammers, they have actually gotten into your Google Drive or your computer or your cell phone and accessed your Google Photos or the cloud or whatever and have that is an actual picture of you.
Right. But if you're not,
and then it becomes a ransomware type
issue.
issue.
And if you're not that tech savvy, they could Photoshop pictures of you doing something that you didn't do.
Because
that you didn't
Photoshop's come a long way.
It's come a long way, man. And then they could literally threaten, whether you did that or not, they could literally threaten to go ahead and all right.
And you can see how well AI has gotten. Just go on your Facebook and look at the chicks that don't really look like that.
Yes.
They've got AI pictures all over the place.
I mean, everybody nowadays is
like, hey, you don't look like that at all.
Think about it. Social media, everybody nowadays loves playing with different apps.
Filters and apps.
With filters
and
that'll be like, hey, this is how I'm gonna look when I'm 60.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
So that's the blackmail, ransomware kind of stuff.
And in situations like that, it's important for us to let people know. It's like, look, don't keep communicating with these people. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, stop communicating with them. They're going to try to pressure you, use all type of tactics. And so report it to your police. Report it to the police.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. Go through the types.
Like
Just go through the types.
Okay, all right. So there's a charity scam.
Charity scam.
The charity scam where they act like they're a real charity. If you
like
haven't gotten a call from like the fire department or the
police department
asking like, we got into that, like where they're like, hey, well, I'm with so and so, your local police department, and we're trying to. I've gotten those calls from the police department and fire department where they're trying to raise money.
And actually, it's the season for it right now. There's definitely a season,
and some of them are real legit. But if you've never heard of it, that doesn't mean.
And here's the crappy thing about that, though. Those have been going on since we've had landlines.
Yeah. I mean,
like that's something that has carried over. And my, however long I've been on this earth, my policy is this. If I want to donate to someone or something, I go to that place or that person.
Yeah.
You will never be able to get money out of me over the phone for a charity. You're not.
Well, I think the thing is that when it comes to these charities, like we said, some people can be really trusting. So if you're from a generation that, you're used to hearing about these charities and stuff like that, it can sound like legit. But if you are there calling about a charity you never even heard of, a quick Google search too can look up. You can look up these charities to see if they're scams, especially when they start asking you to send money and they want like crypto or something. Like, hey, you can send it via crypto now. Really?
Yeah, which leads into another scam.
Right,
I mean, crypto. Crypto is not crypto itself is a scam. I'm talking about people wanting you to, transfer crypto from cash and all that.
Mm-hmm. And some things when it comes to that, because each scam is different. So the things that you have to do to counteract it is different. Like, this isn't something that's like I was getting at before, where like, hey, contact the police and stuff like that. A lot of times with this, that you could cancel them yourself. Like, give me detailed information about the charity. What's the address to the charity? You could look it up through their website and stuff like that. Stuff that they don't expect you to do. But anyway, so that's the charity ones. So here's the one that we've all had: debt collectors. The debt collectors, because like the IRS, people call and you say, hey, this is an attempt to collect a debt, so on and so forth, right? Where they call and you're like, this is an attempt to collect the debt, and you're like, what debt? Or this is calling you about a significant matter concerning a debt for account number, blah, 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 blah. You're like, what in the world are you talking about? That makes no sense. The
IRS doesn't call you guys.
Yeah.
They don't call.
Yep.
They're going to go through snail mail.
Yep.
Point blank. They are not going to email. They are not going to text.
Yep.
They are not going to call you.
Yeah, and one of the biggest warning signs with stuff like that is the threats. Is the threats of you're going to go to jail, Well, we're gonna.
Well, red flag would clearly be, hey, just give me a Google Play card.
Yeah.
Or, you can pay it with a green dot, or you can pay it with a Visa, or you can pay it, just go to Walmart, go to Walgreens, and get us a gift card, and we'll be square.
Yep.
IRS is not going to take a gift card. If that's the case, I got $30 in
saying,
Shields right in my purse.
Right, here you guys go. I didn't know y'all got out like that. Here you go.
Here's Shields.
Yep. And so another one is one that we just talked about in the beginning, is the debt settlement and debt relief scams.
Yeah.
The whole your car warranty.
Yeah.
The car warranty scams and stuff like that. So those are things that, if anything that guarantees you can settle the debt just like this.
Yeah, and again, you've got to be careful of even websites, like you said, you can verify. Well, you've got to do better than that, because they will set up a fake website.
That is true, too.
And, it can be as simple, it used to be, as a .com versus a .org, or, something like that.
Yeah, that's true,
too. But now it's like, guys, if it doesn't have a .gov after it, it's not.
Yeah, let's not.
It's not real.
Yep, and so that's actually good info, because they have gotten smarter.
Oh, they're beyond.
Yeah,
they're beyond our capability.
Yeah. So now, one of the ones that actually they did a CBS special on, like this one has gotten so bad that they've done specials on this one, and even in the local news, it's been the romance scams. Those are they're pretty intense, for a lack of better words. The romance scams, where people pretend to be other people. And they act as if they're falling in love with individuals, and they use that love, the trust that they've gotten with you, to try to get you to send the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are the romance scams, and then they get them to keep you interested. They start. They speak on matters of the heart that would get people to trust them. Like, hey, my I love you, things like that. They'll throw that out there like immediately, and they'll throw all types of caring words and stuff out there to make you think that that's who they say that they are. And in reality, it's like, it's the same thing we said. You can do a quick Google search of individuals that won't even make sense. Lots of time that won't even show up as a picture of that person. It's a totally different person. But these guys have gotten really clever to the point where they will try to convince you, your social security card number, your Medicaid stuff, any way that they can get some type of money from you. These romance scams. We saw a documentary where this lady's parent had disappeared. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. Well, guys, look, the bottom line is this. CBS ran a whole week-long special, last week or the week before, and every day they did another one, and I'm sure you can look it up. And it was on romance scams. And basically what happened, this woman thought she was in love. It wasn't the real person. It was a picture of a real person, but it wasn't the person she was talking to. And unfortunately, the woman has lost her life over it, whether that be by her own hands or something else. We just know that woman is no longer with us, and her savings is gone. And she had built up quite a career. She was very money-minded. She just, it fell prey to the loneliness of, after her husband had passed away, and she thought she was being smart and going on dating sites online because she thought that would be safer than in person. And, all these things added up. This is not a woman that was ignorant by any means, as far as smarts. I mean, she had a career. She had a lot going for her. It's just the heart is an idiot. Yeah. That's what it comes down to.
When you're thinking of matters of the heart, especially if you're lonely like that. Too.
Well, yeah, if you're coming from a place of loneliness, and here we are coming out of COVID, and the effects of that, the trauma that we've all endured, and we're not speaking of it in terms of trauma, and we should. We just went through 3 years of isolation, and that was enough to mess with the healthiest of minds. Yeah. And so now, people are wanting to live their best life and go out there and do all this stuff, and it's just, these people are preying on people.
So we've talked about some different scams and so on. They've gotten pretty elaborate, and we've actually had some things that have happened to us personally,
which is why we're doing this special.
Yeah, which is why we're doing this to begin with.
And I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
And I'm not going to tell you the people who they are. We're not going to say the names, and we're not going to do anything like that because that's their business.
Of course.
But I'm the one that's going through it. I'm the one that's helping them through it. I'm the one that's making the reports and having to take charge on it. And it's something that's really bothering me. And again, if we have a platform where, I can help somebody and I'm not helping somebody, then that's something I have to live with, and that's on me, and that's not good, because I just learned recently, that actually talking about it, it helped somebody else that's close to me greatly, and then I got even more of the puzzle pieces put together. So
yeah, because it's a tough topic.
It's a very tough topic,
and it's especially because I think when it comes to the scams, we typically, easily we all do it. We just like, whatever, hang up. But what about that individual who doesn't know to hang up? That is literally like, oh, this is serious.
Well, and what about that person that's so plagued with loneliness that they don't know that they're plagued with loneliness?
Yes.
I mean, they don't know. You don't know there's something wrong with you. People don't.
Yeah.
The mind is a great deceiver. I mean,
very much so.
You think you're going through life and everything's fine. And yet, everybody else sees you as a horribly depressed person.
Yeah.
And you don't know that you're not, or you think you're fine. You just have, this or that going on, and you don't see that you actually need help.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing that what we've learned when dealing with a lot of this is that it can be very frustrating, especially when you look at the magnitude of how things can get out of control, but before you're brought in on it. So a lot of a lot of things that with people is they get so deep into it,
right?
And there's also the shame of anybody knowing.
Well, that's the thing. It's shame, it's embarrassment, it's keeping it a secret. I'll just be able to get out of it, or no, this is real. This is real. This is real. And I think in the case with the people that are close to me, one in particular, you and I both had spotted it like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, hey, that's not real.
That's not, yeah.
It's not real. And they were coming to us, and again, hey, it's not real, and I can prove it that it's not real. And it unfortunately, though, dealt with, military stuff and all this, and I kept going, hey, military's not going to reach out to you. Listen to me, people.
Yeah.
This is a military veteran sitting next to me. He would not have reached out to anybody on Facebook, Google, random text message. There's no way. It would not have mattered what trouble he was in. And as I said, the only military person that I have seen recently reach out to a civilian was the guy that parachuted out of the plane. Yeah. Yeah. And he needed a phone to call 911.
And it ain't even just the key word there is random.
Random.
We're not going to reach out to a random person.
It's you're not going to get a random Facebook request.
Right. If it's random,
asking for help because they can't get home, yet they're a general or a sergeant or anybody. I don't even care if they're an airman. You're not going to get that message
because the military takes care of their own.
Very much so.
Of what anybody wants to say, the military does take care of their own. So it's
they always have a way home. They have a way to get into their computer. They have a way to get into their bank accounts. It's called a cat card.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
not just
if they lose that cat card, guess what? There's a base right there that they're already on that gives them a new one.
Yeah, they can give them another one. So, and I think that, and I get that that's a lot of information, and even somebody who doesn't know anything about the military it can be easy to convince individuals,
especially people of a certain age.
Yeah.
And because people of a certain age really were taught to revere the military. We're talking about your baby boomers, coming out of World War II. That's why we have a baby boomer generation. And it was all about, America and the people that fight for us. And they're preying on on that pride and mentality and the things that they were taught in school.
Yeah. And so, and that's how that can be easy for, if they say they're military, it's like, oh, okay. Trusting.
Yeah.
You know, immediately trusting.
Here's everything. Yeah. What do you need
what do you
from
need
me?
from
I
me?
just want to help you.
Yeah, they want to help. You're serving
and
our
it's
country.
very pure and very kind. And it's a part of our hearts that, you know, not a lot of people have anymore. But some of us still do have that.
Well,
But you got to, you know, be careful with that. But you and I had peeped that, you know, 2 years ago. And we thought that was it. We thought, you know, it was done. And then there were certain things that we started to notice in this person. They were withdrawing themselves from family things, you know, just as simple as just being around, you know, or having a conversation, not being in their phone all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's a sign too. If it's a person that's over the age of 50, they're not usually in their phone all the time.
Yeah.
So, you know, there were things becoming agitated, and then the asking for money. You know, hey, I need to borrow. Hey, I need to borrow. What do you need it for? Like, what's going on? Can I help you?
Yeah.
And not telling you, not wanting to tell you why they need the money.
Not only that, and then sometimes the excuses don't make sense.
Right.
The reason why they need it, they don't make sense.
Right.
So when we talk about, you know, even warning signs and stuff like that, you know, agitation, you know, being on the phone a lot more, you know, asking for money that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You
especially when it's not this person's
right.
MO or how they are, or in their traits. Like, it's just it almost feels out of the blue, but when you look back, you're like, oh shit, I missed that sign.
Because every now and then, you know, I mean, it's like, hey, I need to borrow. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not like this person, but okay. But when it's a reoccurring thing, you're like, wait a minute.
Well, and when it's hundreds or thousands.
Yeah, it's not like
that's an issue.
I'm not asking, like, I just need to pay my Wi-Fi bill. Like, no, that's not.
Yeah, or I missed my car payment even. I mean,
like that,
you know, because they can get into the thousands.
Yeah.
But you know, if
it's constantly.
Yeah, there's something wrong.
Yeah, then something's going on.
And it's really upsetting to sit there and, you know, and knowing that you had a conversation with someone, but you weren't, maybe because out of respect, out of fear, out of whatever, you weren't as strong with them as you should have been.
Yeah.
Or you're afraid, you know, because I get angry all the time, and I know that anger is just fear. And I'm afraid that, you know, this is because I didn't do XYZ or whatever, but it you know, it's got nothing to do with that, and there's not a lot I could have done, because that's the other thing, right? In society, we're made to feel like if that person's over the age of 18, you can't do anything for them. You cannot help, and that couldn't be further from the truth. You really can. And so, you know, I'd made this person promise me they weren't talking and all of this, but how are you supposed to know? If they're an adult, they have a job,
you won't know.
They do, you know, they don't live with you. You're not in their face 24/7, you know, and you're not going to monitor their phone. It's none of your damn business.
Yeah.
They're an adult. They pay for that phone. So, like, how do you, you know, go through that other than just talking to them? But if they're misleading you, and I don't want to say lying, because I know it to these people, they were thinking they were protecting.
Yeah, and that's a part of the scam, right?
Exactly.
You know, and that's a part of the scam. You know, guard this information, because if it got out to the wrong person, especially if it's a military person, or if it, like, because then it's like, hey, it's really easy to tell this person or try to tell them, hey, no, this is kind of secretive. You know, I could be in trouble if my leadership knew. Now all of a sudden you think you 007 or something.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, you know, it goes from, you know, them preying on their loneliness to them preying on how they were raised and helping people.
Preying on their patriotism.
And then, you know, preying, on their patriotism, but also preying on that, you know, maybe they suspected something, wanting excitement or something like that, and turned them into a spy in their mind, and they weren't. And all they were doing is, again, preying on that vulnerability of being lonely, of wanting someone to share their life with, wanting the romance, wanting the excitement of love. and then turned it into something very scary and very dark, and basically a money mule. And they're so far into it, they don't see that this is happening.
Yeah, because it is one of the things that we figured, that we found out. And when you're dealing with scams, and if somebody's so deeply involved, obviously we said, there's a shame of what has happened.
Right.
Right. But then there is the belief that what you're doing, if you're in the belief of what you're doing, whether like we talk about the patriotism or something like that, like, no, I have to help this person.
Right.
There's nothing anybody else can tell you
At all
that is going to be believable.
I showed the person my cat card. Like,
Yeah.
I offered to take them on base because I can and talk to somebody. Just to say, no, I can get you to someone that can tell you
that
this is a scam.
Yeah, this individual is not real.
Because if you're going to listen to somebody that's supposedly in the military, then please listen to my husband. If not my husband, then I will take you on base to find a person you will listen to.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, all of that, the problem with a lot of these scams, though, is they're evolving. It's never just one scam. It's not a romance scam, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's not what it is anymore. It's not a charity scam, and that's it. It's not a tax scam, and that's it. It's once they get you, they create a fake reality around you.
Yeah.
To where it becomes a high-pressure world that you live in, and you very quickly go from your quiet life to constant
Noise.
pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And in the case of this other person that I'm talking about, it's very hard for me to talk about, but there are two people really at the center of this, but it's affecting more than that.
Yeah.
But with the high pressure stuff, so like the romance turns into money mule.
Right.
And they don't even know
They
that
don't
it's
even
happening.
realize it. They don't even realize.
So on this one person's phone, and these numbers I got from today, just from a phone.
Right.
So we've got 50 text messages in one day, 42 messages from WhatsApp in 2 days. So, and that's something else they do. They get you to get a different app. So
That way it's nonstop.
right.
That way they
no
can hit
matter
you from every one of those apps.
when you pick up your phone's going off from another type of app, or you sign into a computer or your iPad or whatever. So we've got 50 text messages in a day, 42 messages from WhatsApp in 2 days, 22 messages in Facebook Messenger in that was a few hours, 49 messages in Signal, which is another messaging app, in 1 day, 11 messages from Instagram, just Instagram.
Yeah.
These same people, and even if you can't even call them people, 10 new friend requests in 2 days, 19 missed calls in a 4-hour morning period.
Yep.
We've got 20 messages on Friday, or 20 calls on Friday, 26, that's all day Friday, 26 on average every day is what it ended up being. Constant texting, constant messaging, and constantly photoshopping of a minor celebrity, not even minor celebrity, a spokesperson, I guess, a spokesmodel.
The spokesperson.
The Danny Lamb, thing with PCH, Publishers Clearinghouse, constantly pictures of her. This is Danny Lamb. This is Danny Lamb. And to where the person really believed they were speaking to Danny Lamb with really bad Photoshop of the PCH check with their name on it.
Yep. So, like we said, these people they're clever.
Very much so.
They're clever with this, and they're clever, but they're not, right? So it's they know the demographic to go for. So.
But when we talk about that, I've got statistics here, because all in this story, I'm dealing with a certain demographic, but at the same time, we've got demographics that say an average age of people being scammed is 50 years old. That's not old.
Right.
That's me very quickly.
Yeah.
That's not old. That's you were a Gen Xer.
Yep.
Like you are on that cusp of watching the technology evolve. So 50 years, especially 55 to 64 age group, again, that is not old. But this is from the FBI. The 18 to 59, that's everybody. 18 to 59,
Yep, that's everybody.
that's everybody, are more likely to be scammed than older than 60. And the number one group back in, I think it was 2022, the number one demographic were people in their 30s.
Wow.
That was more than people that were over the age of 65. They were second. That group was second. But the people in the 30s was first. So that goes to show you it does not matter your education level, you know, how good you are with technology or not. They're hitting everybody.
Yeah.
But they're doing it with high pressure. Like
Yeah.
all those numbers I just said from
Yeah.
one person's phone. In one day, they are getting bombarded all over the place.
Yeah. And think about that from a younger person's perspective.
Well, it's the
You
bullying.
know what I mean? Think about that from a younger person's perspective who's think about it from who can feel lonely already because bullying.
Well, yeah.
So now they're open up to any type of friendship to somebody that makes them feel
That they're
right,
yeah, that they're
right.
worthy.
Hey, yeah, you know what I mean? Like I could just be your friend and so on and so forth.
Right.
And the next thing you know, they're in those situations also.
Right.
You know, they're preying on, you know, saying the mental health of other individuals because nobody's off limits. They don't care who they go for.
Right.
They'll get your dog if they knew he could. they knew they could. They say, look, you like this bone? Really? All right, just go and get that Cash App for me real
Yeah.
fast. So, you know what I mean? It's
I mean, it's just it's sad, the bullying, the pressure, and people fall for it because they want it to stop.
Yeah.
Fine, I'll get you the $50 Apple Card if you make it stop.
right. Now, like we just said with this individual, all those text messages, because we've seen it. Like they'll keep coming.
It's
They'll
awful.
keep coming. And where are you? So, and then they're
It's
like
awful.
really angry that
No,
this
they're
individual is not.
They're super angry. Like at first, it seems like they're like, "Hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
Hey, you're not writing me back. I'm
Yes.
checking in on you."
Yes, I'm in town.
And then it goes to anger.
Yep.
Yeah, and then it goes to, "No, I'm in town
I'm
now,"
in
because
town. Yep.
they've never shown up.
Yep.
So now it's, "I'm in town. I'm at the airport. You were supposed to pick me up at the
Yep.
airport."
Yep.
It's sick.
Yeah.
It's
It's
absolutely
it's cleverly
sick.
it's cleverly sickening.
But a lot of these and what people are understanding, I think it's like half of them are
Yeah.
AI. They're not even real
Yeah.
anymore. These scammers are no longer real. It is artificial intelligence designed to keep you talking.
Or they are real, just using artificial intelligence. They're real.
Well, you know
And
what I
it's
mean.
like,
Somebody
hey,
had to
they've
write the
been
code.
Yeah, they've
So-
been able to manipulate it to do the work for them.
Well, yeah,
And
that's
they
what
can-
that's
yeah,
what it is.
yeah,
It's
it's-
AI. It's
yeah.
they, they've started it. But, in the case of the other person that is going through this that I'm helping, they got really threatening messages. Like, death threats and pictures of someone holding up a sign that says, "I'm going to cut such and such person's, head off." Like it got bad. It got really, really, really bad and really deep. But again, it goes from romance to money mule. In one instance, it's got to do with Apple Cards and Google Play now. So much so to where when they would talk to them, they would say, "Give me the code." Like, because they thought that they were being under investigation. So there were these codes and stuff. But now, since we have the phone of one person, it's, "I need your Google Play. Why aren't you giving me your Google Play?"
Yeah.
And what happens with the Google Play is they go in, buy the gift cards or buy the content, and can transfer them into gift cards or money.
Yep. Using your card.
Yeah.
Using your card.
Think about everything you have on your phone, people.
Yeah. Think about that Google Play.
You know, and so in the other case, it's pretty rough. When I first really when that person decided to finally talk to me, because again, for 2 years I knew something was wrong. Their attitude had changed. Things were just really weird and awkward. I finally got the whole story. Well,
Yeah.
I got some of the story. I didn't get whole story. I got some of the story. And had made up my mind right then and there. Like the next day, it was like, I'm not keeping this a secret. I have to make phone calls. So the first place I called was it was elder fraud through the FBI. If you go to fbi.gov, click on it, click scams, and then off to the right it says elder fraud or elder abuse, something like that. And that's how I got the phone number, and that phone number, the woman on there was amazing, and it's a 24/7 thing. She gave me so many steps. Like, it was literally, I feel like you're a list person here. This is what you've got to do. So it went down to, I had to notify the doctor first. And then it was, so it was the National Elder Fraud Hotline.
Okay.
Call the doctor first. Call the banks second. Call the banks. And even though, you're not on the account and you can't do anything, if you're in a position to help somebody, just tell the person on the phone, can you put a note on their account?
Yeah.
Can you put an asterisk, a star, whatever note system you guys use, please use it to say this person is being scammed. And then it was fill out the FBI complaint form, which is ic3.gov. Contact the FTC, Federal Trade Commission. The reason why that had to be done is because it also involved cryptocurrency.
Yeah, they leave no stone unturned.
There's no stone
There's
unturned.
no
And because we have
stone left unturned.
Because we have crypto ATMs now.
Yeah. In
And
the malls.
people always willing to help you. Nobody questions, and they should, but nobody questions you when you go in and say, hey, how does this thing work? I want to buy Bitcoin. That's what it's there for. That's what it's designed to do. Why would anybody question you doing that? They're not going to question you doing that.
Yeah.
And that's what's scary, because they really, really, really should. So because it involved Bitcoin, I had to contact the FTC. There was an identity theft resource center, which I felt was worthless. And then the CFTC, which is the Futures Trading Commission, commodities, file a report with them. And it just kept going and going and going. And unfortunately, this one story is still ongoing. But they are receiving the help they need. But it's also been very hard on me and my mental toll, because I wish I would have been stronger 2 years ago to
let said individual know that, hey, no, this is a problem.
Yeah, I really thought that it would just fizzle out, I guess. And, we talked about it, and I was just like, it won't go anywhere. But they just got stronger and stronger and stronger. And to the point of, I don't think this person really understands the gravity of what has happened. Although they're better, I still don't believe that they understand the gravity of it. And this is now, something that's been under investigation. And unfortunately then touched me personally, because they used my name in fraudulent checks. Not the person that's being scammed, the scammers. Like, they get into every aspect of your life.
They could care less. They could care less. And that's another name, bet. I can use that
exactly.
too.
And not only that, because you think you're talking to someone that's in love with you, right? So you're just like, this person this or this person that. You just talk about your day.
Yeah.
Not realizing they're going to take that person and use them against you.
And it's all a game to them, because you could be talking to individuals online, telling them things about yourself, not realizing that they're just piecing a puzzle together, to where, it, by the next time you talk to them, it really feels like they truly know you.
Right.
Because you don't realize how much of your heart you poured out.
Exactly.
And then the next thing you know, you talk to them 3 or 4 days later. Now they've been able to piece a profile of you together.
And if they're
so-
real, they've Googled your name.
Yes, they Googled your name.
And I don't know the last time y'all
Yeah.
Googled your name, but Google your name.
Google your name, and you
Google
be
your
surprised.
name. Don't type anything else. Just put in your name, and then keep on going. And get past
You-
the ads to have to
Yeah.
pay for information. Keep
Yep.
going.
Yep.
Look at the people that are associated with your address.
Yep.
Look at your address. Look at the people associated with your name.
Because believe it or not, Googling yourself and they can find people associated with, guess what? There's another potential victim that they can try. So, just having people yourself, we've gotten phone calls from people that haven't been in our lives forever.
Yeah.
And because that person has been Googled and with
it shows up.
right, it's people they may know.
Google doesn't sit there and go, oh, well, but they're divorced now.
Yeah.
Google doesn't say that. It just says, hey, this person was associated with
At
this
one
person
point
at
associated
one
with this,
point.
yeah, and-
Or this person lived with this person, like your kids.
Yeah.
If your kids are an
So-
adult, it'll still show up under you because
keep
you
that
raised
stuff
them.
in mind, man, because
You
like
know-
I said, these guys have gotten
No, they've gotten super good, so it doesn't even matter if you give them a social security or a bank account number. Yes, of course that matters. Please don't do that. But all they got to do is Google you. And that's what, we tell our adult kids all the time. Like, if they're skipping out on a bill, guess what?
yeah.
If they got your name,
Yeah.
they're going to Google you.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm getting a phone call. Or
yeah.
he's getting a phone
Yeah.
call.
Yep.
And it's like, guys, you can't escape this.
It's happened.
It's called Google.
Yeah, it's happened, and so, but anyway, that's just some things for us to tell you.
Yeah,
that this
and-
situation is bad, and
that's just that's two people. One is getting inundated and scammed by romance, and then being told you don't love me if you don't help me and all this stuff, and then the other one is getting scammed through sweepstakes scams, which are coming back full circle. And that bank, the check that my name was on a fraudulent check from a bank I'd never even heard of.
yeah,
But this is a scam that started 30 years ago.
yeah,
And it had stopped for the last 10 years. It had stopped because everybody at the banks got wise to the account number.
and now they've gotten complacent.
And then they got complacent.
So
And because unfortunately younger people come into the workforce.
Yeah.
And us old heads aren't saying, hey, you need to keep an eye out for this. Because we're not being reminded we got to keep an eye out for it.
yeah, so that's true.
It's
But
just
yeah.
true.
So I could say this. It boils down to this. Look for this. Check on your people. Because you've heard that
That's-
numerous times from every other.
I don't agree with it.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it like this. But think about what I'm talking about when I say check on your people. It ain't get involved in their lives and stuff like that. When I say check on your people, if they're acting differently, if that it's like, hey, this isn't how people you normally act, like what's going on, versus just not caring, like whatever you got going
but
on is on them.
in both instances, I did.
Yeah.
I checked on
Yes.
both of them.
Yes.
And if they're not willing to tell you and they're a working
Yeah.
adult and they've got their own life and live on their own,
yeah.
it comes down to you got to call their doctor.
Yeah.
Like if you know something's going on,
yeah.
you've got to call. And again, I wasn't on this person's HIPAA, but I was able to say something isn't
Wrong,
right.
right.
I know who their doctor is. I need a message to the doctor. If they get back to me, they get back to me. But at
Yeah.
least I know I have tried to do something.
Well,
so,
and one of the last things I'll say about it is this: is like it as you said, like you can look at it one of two ways, to where it's like they don't want to tell me; they tell me when they tell me, versus when they do decide to tell you, and they are either staring through the eyeglass of an investigation
yeah,
or completely broke.
yeah,
They are working to pay the scammers.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you're like, how in the hell do I help? I have no idea where to start.
Yeah, and
You know
then
what I'm saying?
but
And
of
it's-
course your first focus is that person,
Right.
and please, we'll figure this out and we'll go through the steps and we'll, I had been, the fact is and I had found it and didn't even remember doing it. I had been writing complaints. I had been reporting to
Yeah.
Meta. I had been reporting to the FBI.
Yeah.
The problem is they in 2023 the FTC received 64,000 reports of fraud. They get no fewer than 5,000 a day, I believe the FBI said they get. They're not going to get back to you.
Nah, no.
And unfortunately, Meta doesn't give a shit. And
And
I'm
if you
calling
think-
Zuckerberg out on this.
Yep. 'Cause if
Like
you
everybody else, you know, we got some really shitty stuff going on in Facebook.
Yeah, if you think the FTC has 64,000 people in your area, that's not because it's broken down in different
Yeah,
areas. And
and-
you think that they got the manpower.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
weird.
and when you report something to Facebook, they're like, oh, well, no, it
Yeah,
checks.
yeah,
It's an
everything
account.
looks good. Yep.
It's not the actual person.
Yep.
And you know, so there's ways you've got to protect yourself. If you're getting a friend request, make sure you've actually met this person in person.
Truth.
Or you know them and know a way to verify them. I
Yes.
promise you, it's not that celebrity. It's not that person.
Mhm.
It's not anybody. If they don't have a picture or if their profile has no pictures
Yeah.
or the pictures they have are only like, but no posting, that's suspicious.
Yeah. And
Like that's just, there's so much wrong.
there was one other scam I wanted to say real quick, and that's the I don't know how to put it, but I'll just call it the help me scam. The ones I've seen, it hasn't happened to us or to anybody we know where a loved one calls and saying that
Oh,
they
yeah.
need money.
Well, yeah, because that's a form of AI.
Yeah,
they're
it's-
taking your voice. So you know when you get the robocalls
Yeah,
and,
and you say
hello,
And that's them taking
And-
your voice.
they'll go so far as how are you today? I'm fine. How are you? Or you know, or just recording your voice because everybody records the voice
Yes.
now. And they'll manipulate it to where
Yep.
they're calling grandma saying, I need help. I've been kidnapped.
Yeah.
You know, and able to do it. I mean, I was watching a story on AI today, and they've recreated Randy Travis's voice because he's lost the ability to sing. And I'm like, you know, guys, I love AI, but
Yeah.
it's being used for evil.
But my point behind that is that it can be something as simple as what's the code word.
And it's a code word. It's a code word that you have come up
Yes, that
with your loved one.
yes.
And I know that Davey and I have one, but I, for the life of me right now, can't remember it. But I also,
I think she remembered if I said something and it's like you don't normally use that in a sentence, so okay.
yeah.
Yes.
And there's words,
Yes.
but I think we just have phrases like we both know that, you know, if I'm in a panic and can't remember anything, I'm going to throw out a bunch of words and you're going to know it's me.
Yeah, that is true. Like, or be like, you got to stop smoking. We said that you had stopped that. That's not good for you to hang up
I've
the phone.
never done
I
that.
know.
Don't put that fucking out there. I have never.
That's it. Or it'd be one of those things you call. I'd be like, didn't we stop smoking a long
This
ass
is
time ago? Like,
nicotine. This is nicotine. This is
This-
not
this is not-
anything. Holy crap.
you saying a lot of mumble stuff. Like, what is?
Now it's
This
going to be,
is-
remember that time we were doing a special on scams and you told the world that I was a pot smoker?
Nope. I said we. So, but no, seriously though, you know, like it'd be something as simple as code words. And I realize this has gone a little bit long, but it's important.
Well,
And it is
it's going to
literally-
be
it
as
is
long.
yeah,
it's going to
it-
be as long as it
it
needs to be.
It's important for you. If you're still with us, understand this. You don't want to sit here and be like, whatever. And then whatever happens to you? Whatever happens to you or somebody you
Because
love?
when I tell you, and this is not to make the person, the persons, the people
Yeah.
that are going through this guilty. I'm not trying to make you feel guilty. I am giving you my perspective. What I see in the mirror right now is not me. What I'm going through and my crying all the time, my fear and depression and upset comes from what's happening to them and the fact that, one, I didn't know how to stop it 2 years
Yeah.
ago without being totally invasive of their private life where I had no right to be, I felt. And so, you know, it's really like down to the stress of hair loss and things like that because I'm so stressed out. I can only imagine how they feel.
Yeah.
And I hate this for these people and I'm doing everything I can to help them, but I don't know how you help someone when you constantly can prove to them that it's a scam, but they know they're right. And what are you supposed to do? So it's a scary world out there is what it comes down to, and we have to be more open in talking about what is happening with us so that we can help other people.
And what you don't do is nothing.
You can't, you can't sit there and go, they'll take care of it because they've always taken care of everything.
You want to say something then, blah, 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 blah. Like, nah.
I mean, it's just.
I'm here to tell you, by the time you find out.
It's too late. I mean,
whether it's too late or not, it's like how deep it has gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, now there's so much that has happened.
Because on one side of it, we've got one person and it's brought my name into it so that, it's my credit. I was the victim of a scam in 2014 coming back from Massachusetts, and I thought I was getting a job. It was a remote job, and I was going to school, and I just needed something, and it was through like Kayak or something like that, like a travel agency.
Yeah.
And it was legit. Like, I thought it was legit. I got it off of a job site thing, like Monster or whatever it was back then. Mm-hmm. I applied. A few weeks later, I got, hey, we're going to call you on this date for an interview. It was a phone interview. I mean, it was all these things. Couple of days later after that, I got the job. It was just going to be customer service. It was all being done. I would be at home, computer. It was 4 hours a day.
Simple
I had
stuff.
a schedule. Hey, so here, we need your information because it's a job. Right. So we now need a way to pay you. And so I was with Bank of America. I gave them the stuff so they could do ACH deposit. Yeah. And it was a scam. And they put $10,000 into my bank account and took $12,000 out. And Bank of America messed up my life for the next 7 years. So much so I got erased from the IRS. They have check systems. Check system is credit, and they will sit there and go, we don't do anything. That's just the way banks communicate with each other. No, it's not.
This is from experience.
I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get anything done. I was erased from the IRS. I had nothing.
You're like Men in Black for a second.
I could not get a job to save my life. And the people that did hire me, I had to come clean and be like, this is what's happened. I was under investigation from Bank of America. I'm the one that tipped them off that this was a scam. I went to the Attorney General, the State Attorney General of Kansas. I went to the bank and I went to my local police department. I filed a report. You know what they all told me? Well, the money's in your account, therefore it's yours. What?
And this basically happened before they realized.
Yeah.
Just how serious.
But then when they did the
reverse
and pulled it out, now all of a sudden, so when the bank told me the day before, it was my money. But then when they went in and withdrew more than the $10,000,
then we had a problem.
Now it's my fault, and I was dubbed a fraud. I was dubbed a con. And they tried to come after me, and I was under investigation, and their investigator cleared me. The Bank of America has their own investigators. They cleared me.
Well, you went in there just.
I went in there with the proof. I was like, here's the reports. I brought this to you. You didn't bring it to me.
Yeah. And
so once I was cleared, then I found out 2 months later through a bank. Mm-hmm. I was trying to get a bank account from someone for something. Oh, because I'd gotten a job. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to get a different bank account because, of course, Bank of America shut me down. And they were like, you need to see this. And thank God they showed me the check system report where it said that I was basically a con artist. And I was like, who sees this? And she's like, anybody that you're going to try to rent an apartment from, any bank you're trying to open an account from, and any job. What? And basically, and I'm a person that had security clearance. I'm a person that, upstanding citizen type person.
Check system, is it?
It's called the checks system.
The same way it sounds, like checks or with an X?
I think it's with an X. I'm trying
Okay.
to remember. But, I mean, it destroyed me. And so I called the investigator back, tore him up,
Yeah.
gave him a piece of my mind. And it was a, whoa, 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 what are you talking about? So then he did an investigation on the investigation and didn't know that for 20 years that he had been investigating there at Bank of America. He had no idea that this is what they were doing, that after he cleared them, that was it. It went up to the guys upstairs. Like, here's my investigation results. And then he went on to the next investigation.
Yeah.
He never asked what happened after that, other than they would be like, oh, this person's clear.
Yeah.
He didn't know that they then would go into this credit system that is blacked out to you or I and would put derogatory marks on you. And he was quite upset.
Yeah. I feel like putting that, is that
So-
something that people can look up, the bank checks system, or is not have access to, but something
Yeah, you will
that
never
will
have
say-
you will never
Yeah,
have
yeah,
access to
clearly
it.
not you have access to it, but it's something that you can look up with the bank checks system. And she's looking it up now.
I am
like,
because I'm
I think
trying
it's with
to
you said it's with an X, C-H-E.
Yeah, Chex Systems, CHEX, like the cereal, Chex
Okay.
Systems.
And I'll most likely have the link
yeah.
up here, put it up
Yeah.
on there where we're listening to it, because it's, or not listening to it while it's going. And so
And
that's,
yeah, they call it check and bank account screening, but it's not. Landlords can pull it up, things like
Yeah.
that. People again that are looking at you for a job.
and that's how but that story is an example of how deep this stuff can go.
Yeah, it messed. Here's the
Yeah.
thing. In one instance, it messed the trajectory of my life up so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. But at the same time, had I not then become a bartender because I couldn't do anything else,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have met this guy here. So,
Yes.
I mean, you know,
And
thank
I
God
get
for
it.
small favors,
Yeah.
I guess.
And you have to look at something. You know, we have to say this. Do not take this information for granted, because God forbid, we're not wishing this upon anybody.
No, file
But
it away.
Yeah, but definitely have this information.
Seriously.
Know the organizations you need to get in contact with.
Yeah.
I don't even care if you go to Google and say, I think I've been scammed. You know
And
what I'm
it's
saying?
that simple.
And it's that simple.
It's that simple.
I think I've been scammed. And 9 times out of 10,
Yeah.
Google's going to pop up something that is happening to you,
Yeah.
or something relatable that you can be like, oh, so this is where I go.
Yeah.
Do not sit there and fall victim.
Exactly. And when it had happened to me, like I said, I went and reported it. I ended up being the first person in Kansas to have a reverse ACH scam. And now that's something that's common.
Yeah.
But I was the first
She's not
person
saying
in
it like,
Kansas.
hey, yeah, I want my props.
Once
That's not what
again,
this is.
I'm the winner.
This is not.
I am the
I want my
queen.
props for being the first person.
I
to
am
get
I
scammed.
am the queen
Yeah,
of if it
yeah.
can happen to you, it'll happen to
Yeah.
Misty first.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go through this real quick because I want people to know the red flags of a romance scam.
Go ahead.
Okay, so they prefer to communicate off dating websites, or they'll move around. So maybe you're on Facebook Messenger, but now they want to talk to you on Gmail chat. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're gonna move,
Or
or
WhatsApp.
Signal, or
WhatsApp,
WhatsApp. So anybody, especially with the dating sites, if they want to talk to you off of it, red flag. They ask a lot of personal questions about you, but never answer any of the questions you have asked them. They try to establish a bond quickly. I love you, I love you, I love you. They immediately ask for financial help. You've never met them in person, but they're still trying to establish this bond quickly. They use endearing terms like dear, darling, and the love of my life. They attribute your romance to fate or destiny, and they propose marriage quickly. Now, here's the funny thing. Even in person, these would all be red flags, but they're not.
Yeah.
Thank God. I mean,
Yeah.
because we...
That's how I came out to her.
it's-
That's how I
So,
came out to
but if you've never met
But,
the person...
However, this was in person.
Yeah.
This
Th-
wasn't a.
all of our
this is-
interactions were in
yeah.
person.
Who knew?
Yeah.
I had all these red flags.
You had all the red flags. It's just you were in person, so you were a safe guy. You were not the bear
all
in
the
this
red
situation,
flags.
baby.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
Yeah.
no, let's not go
Or
there.
you were the bear in this
Yeah,
situation.
let's not go
You
there.
were my safety.
Yep.
So how do you avoid it? You research the person's profile on Google. Research their name, because if
She definitely looked me up.
Oh, you know I
She
did.
definitely Googled me.
If you guys aren't Googling people from job interviews
Yeah, I'm only
to just
laughing
people
because
you
she-
encounter,
everything that she's saying, she did to me. So
I thought everybody did that.
yeah,
I can't believe. And so then he was like, "What do you mean you Googled me?" And this was like when we got
Yeah,
married. I was
yeah.
like, "You're damn right, I Googled you." And you're like, "Really?" And so then I was like, "You never Googled me?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "I could be a serial killer. Like
after she has the ring now, mind you, it's like, well, okay,
I could be
well,
the Black Widow. You don't know what I am." So I made him Google me.
Yep.
So you research a person's profile, Google them, ask questions, and when they don't answer,
Red flag.
red flag. Be suspicious if they don't show up more than once. Guys, this is not, shop around the corner kind of stuff. Like, or hey, it's a blind date and they keep, oh, I was in a car accident. Oh, I was this, or oh, I missed my flight.
Right.
Something's wrong. It used to be, what's crazy is we used to say, oh, they're married.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Seriously. Yeah. Oh, they're married.
Yeah.
Well, now it's, oh, they're a scam.
Yep. They're in another country and they're scamming me. Yep.
Do not send money to anyone you've not met in person. Be suspicious if they ask for photos or financial info. Collectively, in just 3 to 5 years, individuals reported a collective loss of $1.3 billion. And that's just in America. The average loss to a romance scam was $4,400 per person. And that's up 80% from 2021. And that's about, so one of the people that I'm helping and that is close to me, it is about $4,500.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the other person, it's in the 40,000s.
Yeah.
So people that rush you on Facebook to be a friend, don't befriend people you don't know. Stealing service members' photos. Guys, again, when you meet someone, Google them. Please, please, please Google them. We talked about that. So ICE.gov is a good way to report and learn more about all types of scams. And to know that, most of these, unfortunately, originate in West Africa, predominantly Nigeria and Ghana. And it's so sad. It's so, so sad that,
Yeah.
What am I trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's very, because honestly, the special we watched, they interviewed somebody from Ghana.
And we can't, as a country.
He used to be the guy doing all that.
Yeah. And as a country, we can't, and they're teenagers.
Yeah.
They've taught, they call them like Yahoo men. And
I
you
remember
can't,
that.
yeah.
And
you
it
can't.
was something like that, Google Men or something like that. I can't remember what they called it over there.
They're there to make a buck. They think they're doing a good thing because they're getting money and they're giving it to their, people or their families. And it's just so sad. And as a country, we really can't do anything because they're protected. So, we're having a hard time, but our government is finally catching up because a lot of them got bold enough to move to the U.S.
Oh, come on over. Bro.
Come on. We'll hold the door open for you. Also, let's see. We've got ICE. There is a 24/7 hotline with people that give a shit about you. And if you think you're in a scam or somebody that you know and love is in a scam, it's 1-866-347-2423. Again, that's 24/7. Somebody's always going to be there to answer the phone. IC3.gov is where you make a report on the scams. But the only way to stop it, and here's the thing with this person's phone that we have. We've put it on silent, and it is slowing down. Yeah. Those numbers I gave you earlier, the 50 text messages a day and all that, it is slowing down, but it's still a bombardment.
It's not like it was because they're
starting to catch
on.
They
start realize they're being ignored. It's like they may be being investigated. Or they may be like an
because we're on day 5 now, I think, of these people not having communication, and it swings. It's like a mood swing. It goes from concern or a fake concern to anger.
Yep.
So you have to stop all communications. You need to talk to someone, get past the embarrassment and all that, recognize you need help, and then, you'll get to the rest later. You've got to talk to somebody. Report it to law enforcement. Now, I have something to say about that too. Law enforcement doesn't know what to do. They're going to report. They're going to say, go to ic3.gov, go to the FBI.gov. And here's the thing. You really can't make a report over the phone. They only want to take these reports online. And when you go to make a report, you need to type out your personal story in like 500 words.
Yep.
It's very impersonal. And when you do, there has been some investigators I have spoke with, they treat you like crap. They're getting better.
Yeah.
They're getting better, but
Yep.
they don't know what to do with you, and some of them unfortunately pass judgment. So you got to be, really careful with that. You're going to end up doing it online anyways, so at least report it, and then always to the Federal Trade Commission as well, because it involves money.
Yep.
And it's a lot, and it's disheartening, and it's scary, and it's frustrating.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So our thing here, man, it's that we wanted you guys to take away from this is that these things are alive and well. Scams are alive and well, and they are extremely.
And they're coming out with new ones every day.
Yeah, they're mind-boggling. Some of the ones that they are. I'm here to tell you, from getting an email about an account that you have. I got an email from. We have an OpenSea account. I got an email from our OpenSea account that we hadn't been on in forever, and I stopped getting them. Yeah, I stopped getting them. And it was like, hey, somebody wants to buy one of your pictures on your OpenSea account.
Okay.
And it's like, this email just doesn't look legit. Like it just doesn't look legit. Like so I logged on to our OpenSea account and I was like, lies. It's like
lies. It's all lies.
Lies. I didn't log on through. They was like, click here to go to your OpenSea account. I was like, I'll just go through another window and open up my OpenSea account. And then it's like, yeah, you guys lied.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, what really gets me is now scammers can use local phone numbers. Like they've tapped in to my doctor's office phone number. So I picked up the phone thinking it was my doctor or my nurse. And it was a flippin' robocall. And I'm like, you guys are taking legit numbers now. But how many, text messages do you have saying that your package was undeliverable? I really wish you'd get that under control, babe.
Yeah.
We need that package delivered.
Whatever it is, I'm like, man, whatever it is old as hell now. I don't know. It's like, I clearly don't need it. Like
moldy and
FedEx, y'all ain't got a hold of me.
Destroyed.
And I got an undeliverable package through all of them, by the way. FedEx, USPS, and UPS.
Oh, absolutely.
So, it's, that's just what it is. So
yeah.
I have never, tracking number I've never seen before in my life.
Yeah.
But our point is, man, they're clever.
They are.
They've gotten clever. So please watch out.
And banks too. You getting text messages from your bank.
This is
Do
Chase.
not answer it. Do not click on that link.
Chase.
Any email, text message, do not click on the link. Do not call your bank. If you get a text message from your bank, call your bank and verify. And always do not call the number that somebody gives you through a text or an email.
Yep.
Google that company, get the phone number from the internet, because a lot of times, again, it's a way for them to get into your phone. I have seen them create a false reality around people that are close to me that are going through this, to where they think they're talking to a friend that they actually know, and again, they're not. They're talking to a bot.
So keep that in mind. And we haven't covered them all. There's no way for us to cover them all. We just wanted to go over a few things and share our story.
But they're
too.
Infiltrating your home, people.
Yeah, believe it or not.
And we need to be more mad about this than we actually are.
No phone number is safe.
No.
The car warranty one has turned into a meme on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's how little
this can't be a way of life.
Yeah,
and we've made it a way of life.
That's how little we take the seriousness in the fact.
It's scary.
Let's make it a meme.
People are losing their lives over it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, they're funny jokes, but this is serious stuff, But look, baby, you got anything else on this topic?
No, it feels better to get it out. I
Yeah.
know this was hell for you, baby, because
No,
I made it hell because I didn't want to talk about it, but it needed to be said.
No, it needed to be said. And, you know, I really do hope that we've given you guys a lot of things to think about, a lot of information. Hopefully,
And there's
if
hope.
if it just helped one of you, we're happy about
There's
that.
hope. There is nothing that you have done or nothing that has happened to you.
That is
No
it.
amount of money is worth your life.
Nope.
You are fine. You will get help. Call these phone numbers. Reach out to Davey or I. Do not take your life for this.
DMWhatPodcast@gmail.com. It's still there.
Absolutely.
It's still there. So, hey, that's our special on scams. We hope you guys got some good information there. Signing off for DM Watch Podcast. Thank you guys again. I am Davey,
I'm Misty.
and we will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you guys. Catch you.
Bye.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay, I'm going to do it again. Hold on. Signing off for DM Watch Podcast. I'm Davey.
I'm Misty.
And we'll see you guys on the next one. Catch you.